Hello everyone, welcome to Xanadu, and tonight I am going to be discussing my personal theory and review, well sort of review, of The Shining.
Here's Johnny.
Come and play with us, Johnny.
So, yeah. This video wasn't requested or anything exactly, but, I'll give a shout out to all of my friends. Anyway, hi everyone. First off, I love The Shining. I love everything about it. I grew up with this film, and it's a very intense film. If you have a heart, you will definitely get how intense this film is. It's a very beautiful film, and everyone did a good job acting in it. It's a very complicated film, and from beginning to end, it has a storyline, but it is very confusing at times, especially the ending. And Stanley Kubrick, who is a very complicated man, and but is also a very talented filmmaker, definitely took Stephen King's book of The Shining. He took it and made it his own, definitely. Which is why Stephen King did not like the film. In fact, he probably almost hated it. He did not like it at all. But anyway, I love the film, and I'm going to be talking about the confusion of The Shining and the different theories that everyone has to explain the story, explain the hidden secrets inside Kubrick's masterpiece. It is said by many people, and many people have made videos trying to explain the hidden depths of The Shining and the true meanings of some of the words, some of the lines, some of the clothings, you know, the costumes, the sets, the hidden messages that he was trying to tell. So basically, I saw many of these videos. Well, not many, actually, just one. But one was enough to convince me to make this video. There's like a whole hour video called, you know, the Shining Code. There's many people saying that they know exactly what The Shining is trying to tell, what Kubrick was trying to tell. But, you know, just like what every single one of them said, everyone has their own opinion. So it took me a very long time to get an official opinion on the logics of this film, but I think I have a good enough opinion to tell my official theory. So what I'm going to be talking about is a lot of what this guy on YouTube has talked about. I will leave his video in the description box below, so you guys can make up your own theory, make up your own minds. Here we go. The story is about a man named Jack, played by Jack Nicholson, and his wife, and his Wendy, and his son Danny, and Tony. He becomes the new innkeeper of this hotel, this huge hotel, and they live there for the winter, and it's heavily snowed down, and he slowly but surely loses his entire mind, being isolated in this place, in the cold and everything, and terrorizes his family and tries to kill them. So yeah. Wonderful! Tell us more, Elizabeth. The few main things that are in question is The Shining, the actual word, and Danny and this other man who worked at the hotel, Danny has, you could say, heightened senses or psychic abilities or whatever you want to call it. The boy is just not normal. He feels things, he senses things, he's always subdued, and you just feel like something's wrong. Something is not right with him. Tony, I don't want to go, Mrs. Torrance. Tony is like his friend, or you could honestly say I thought it was some kind of a spirit or whatever that was just in him and keeping him company and giving him the dish on things. I don't think we should go to that hotel. And the whole thing is that he, it is very clear that he has abilities as well, because he knew something was up, or at least Tony knew something was up with the hotel. And when Jack murders the man who also has the sort of the psychic ability, Danny sees it in his head and feels it and screams. He even has almost like a seizure at one point. The whole sort of question is the abuse going on in the family. Yes, abuse. Wendy does talk about it with the doctor at the beginning, saying that Jack used to have a drinking problem, and he accidentally dislocated Danny's shoulder, I think. Used, I guess, hit him. But there's a theory that it shows that there was more, that there was sexual abuse going on. And you could say, what the heck are you talking about? There was no evidence in the film, or there was no messages that Kubrick was trying to tell that Jack was actually molesting his son as well. But there is bears in this film a lot. There's the very disturbing ghost scene that Wendy finds in front of her, of two ghosts, and one is in a bear suit, and they were doing a sexual act. And there's bears in Danny's room on his pillow, and I don't remember, it's in the video below that the guy is talking about, so I'm stupid right now, I can't remember, but the bear is a symbol of some kind of omen or whatever. It's a sign of sexual abuse, or something sexual. And if you don't believe me, watch the video. The guy will explain it. He'll explain it a lot better than I can. But I'm telling you that the bear is a symbol of that Kubrick definitely put around, so it's noticeable. And also, and with the whole thing with Tony, is I don't think it's a spirit or anything. I used to think that when I was little, but I don't anymore. My theory is kind of like what the guy explained, was if there was sexual abuse going on also for the boy, him sort of going inward in himself and being subdued and traumatized. Children do that when they have abuse, and grown-ups, but mostly children, they have split personalities where the other side of them is like a protector, someone who is like their friend. It's who they sort of turn into, or lets come out, or hears them in their head even when such stress and trauma is going on. Which would explain why Tony is there, and why, if the poor boy does have psychic senses, that he would be even extra sensitive to that kind of terrible abuse. So why he would act sort of weird at times. And there's a scene, if you pause it and just look at it closely, when Jack is ready for his interview, he's reading, you don't notice it, but if you just look and pause it, you will see that Jack is reading a Playgirl magazine, and on it, if you turn it upside down, and if you actually look for the picture of that magazine, it talks about incest. Incest, why parents sleep with their children. Could be a coincidence, but I don't believe in them. So that could possibly be a message that Kubrick was putting in. Apparently he did a lot of that, with America, with the Indians. A lot of the Indian texture and settings of the settings of the hotel have a lot to do with Indians. So there is possibly a definite case of abuse for the child, and that would also explain why Jack himself is also quite weird. I mean, he goes insane, but the way that he is, even from the very beginning, you can just tell something's not right with him. You can already tell that he must have a lot of rage in him, and that something is going on in his head. And the ending, for example, the whole question is what the heck was going on at the very end when he dies. You know, basically the killer is dead and the mother and child are free. His soul is now officially part of the history, is part of the hotel. And you see him in the picture of the party, and how they were all going like, you were always here, you know. You were always the innkeeper. Basically saying that he was here before. Now there are many different theories, especially that this guy talks about. The opinion that I had when I was little, when I would see that, is that he must have just been consumed by the hotel and its curse, and he became a part of it when he died or something. But that's not my opinion now. My theory is that, okay, get ready for this, okay? When he meets the real the other innkeeper from before, who went insane and murdered his wife and two twin daughters, and he influences him to be like him, sort of like, you know, sort of like get down with the sickness, you know that scene. My theory is that Jack was the other innkeeper, that was a past life, that one of the main curses is that the same soul is like doomed, you could say, to relive it over and over and over. That his soul, you could guess, is split in half because residues of energy and all sorts of that can stay somewhere. If the curse is there, and if he came back as Jack, as another person, because I heard this from Amy Allen, so I'm not crazy. This does happen, but it's very rare. The soul can split, and the energy, the dark energy, and the parts that don't want to leave stay. So the ghost activity of the other crazy innkeeper talking to Jack and along with the other ghosts and craziness that is going on is part of his old energy, and he is doomed to come back and do it over and over and over because it is like a cycle. A lot of horror movies go that way. It's not uncommon for the same person or whatever, whether it's the same soul or a completely different person, to be doomed once they set foot in a place or whatever to do the same act over and over and over. There are loads of movies like that. You could have a better opinion that can totally change my mind, but for now, this is the theory that really satisfies it for me. And I believe it, not because it's just my theory, but because it makes more sense in a way, because the ending and just the whole sense of this film is very confusing. You know, it's genius and wonderful and creepy, and I do love some suspense, and lots of suspense and mystery. Even at the end, I love that there's still mystery, but especially in this case, there's almost just too much mystery. It's confusing. But that's why it's kind of like Donnie Darko, where everyone can make their own theories about it, about what really happened. So if he was doomed to do this over and over and over, it would make sense, because it's the same thing. Man goes crazy, kills his family, wife and child, and it's the same thing over and over. So that would explain why it consumed him the way it did. And some other people, like in the guy in this other video, you might agree with him more, or you can just look up an interview, maybe if there is one, of Stanley Kubrick explaining every detail about it and what his real intention was. My theory when I watch it, and that gives me creeps, and that I truly believe is the real Shining, is that it's all a curse, and that there is many different ways to look at it. And I do look at it many different ways, because each scene in that movie shows sort of a different take on what's going on. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, that he was a part of that in a past life, and he is now. There's that, and there's the sexual abuse with Danny, and the whole Shining with that man and Danny both having the same ability. I think it's a very masterpiece of a film, and I would love to hear your side of the story. How do you feel when you watch The Shining? What is your theory about Tony and the relationship of the family and the ending and the whole texture of the markings in the hotel and the bears? The symbols. There are hidden symbols in this film, and you just have to dig and dig and dig, and you will see many other theories, but you either find the truth from the creator himself, or you make up your own theory that you truly believe is the truth of the film, and makes it more fun to watch. If this theory helps you at all, I'm glad. If it makes you think that I'm totally wrong and that I am obsessed with a supernatural theory, then fine. But if you think it, then fine. Namaste, person. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And if you want to request for me to review a movie for you, I will. The next movie that I would like to review, possibly next time, is The Frighteners, because I love that movie. If you would like me to review The Frighteners, put in #Frighteners down below. And if you would like any other movie, just put in hashtag and whatever the movie is. So yeah, thank you very much. If you want to ask me questions or request anything, put in the hashtag and watch this guy's video. I think it'll really help you get an idea of what the movie is truly about. And so thank you very much. Remember, you are enough. You are so enough. It's unbelievable how enough you are. Bye.